Well, speaking of the Knights, wasn't that a night to remember for them, breaking a hoodoo against the Melbourne Storm? 8-year hoodoo, in fact, with a 26-18 win. I want to know, what impressed you the most about this Newcastle performance?
Just the fight. They just stayed in the fight. After 10 minutes when it was 12-0, I was just like, oh no, don't tell me the huge crowd's there and they're going to toss up an awful performance, but they stuck to their guns and just ripped in. It was just such a great team performance. Look, Kalen was out of this world, but I thought everyone just contributed so much. And you know what? They found their style of play. Starting to find their DNA as a team. The try to Lachie Fitzgibbon was just got me out of my feet. Got me on my feet.
Tarek Sims
would have been good.
Yeah. Tarek Sims got Sim bin. They scored 3 tries in that time. And what they did, I think it just excited the Knights, and they never stopped playing when Tarek came on. They never stopped playing like they were against 12 players.
Well, they played a great brand of football when they were up against 12. They used the football. This was it here. They used the football and found the space. It is a contributing factor going down to 12 men and scoring 3 tries. But if you look at the Dragons, the Broncos and the Cowboys all went down to 12 men and they still got the job done. So interesting, Craig Bellamy talking after the game saying that they just wanted it more. Wants a very undervalued trait.
That young guy, Matt Croker, who scored that try, geez, he's underrated. Trains hard, really good fella around the club, and geez, he's playing well, playing really well.
To come from 12 points down, though, what does that tell you about the night, their attitude and where they are mentally at the moment? A
lot of belief in the team. I think maybe the start of the year, the heads would have gone down, but it was an incredible effort.
Just after the 10-0, there was a set there coming out of trouble where Kalen touched it, I reckon, 3 times, and they ended up making a break down the left. Straight away, the whole Knights team just changed. If he doesn't do that, they sit there and think about the scoreboard and make sure he turns into 40. But he just ignited them straight away. He just said to them, righto, let's go. Let's attack. Let's be positive.
This one here, nothing doing. Just how quick, how explosive he is. Billy, his decision to sit out Origin,
yep.
I think for Newcastle fans and supporters, they must be over the moon about it. Because his performance.
Well, he wasn't in a position to play Origin. Yeah. If you think about his build-up to state of Origin, physically and mentally, he wasn't in a position. Now is a different story right now. He's found his happiness, he's strung games together. He's the difference in this team, without a doubt. He is the difference. And I think that the Knights can still find areas to bring Kalen into the game more. He's the most dangerous player in the red and blue jersey, and he's a star. He's a star.
First time in his career he's ever beaten the Melbourne Storm as well, so nice to remember for Kalen. But earlier on in the year, when the Knights weren't going so well, their coach, Adam O'Brien, he was under a fair bit of pressure. Do you think he's the right man to lead this side forward?
Without a shadow of a doubt. I think he's gone through the start of the year. It was a terrible time, a lot of injuries and some confidence down. But look at the way they played last night. And moving forward, I think they can make a real challenge for the 8 this year. Next year, there's 2 young English lads coming out, so the squad's going to get stronger. He deserves another shot to coach this team, without a doubt. So for me personally, not only Adam, but also his staff, I'd love to see Adam given another chance in the next couple of years. So, you know, fingers crossed, hopefully it's done the next couple of weeks, because I think he deserves it.
Yeah, and that could certainly be a big boost for them at the moment, sitting in 10th and just 1 point outside of the top 8. Yes, the Warriors, they are flying at the moment, that golden point victory over the Raiders. Now, earlier on in the show, Freddie, you said that you can't see them at this stage winning it. Billy, Joey, can you see the Warriors doing it?
I think they're an outside chance. If it's one of those years where, like 2005 when the Tigers came from nowhere. But as Freddie said, they need to improve some key areas.
I just think they're getting the foundation of the game right. They're getting the team things right, and everyone's playing. You watch some of their attack, and everyone's in position. Their timing is usually perfect. They're getting a lot right in the basics of the game, and if they continue doing that, well, they're going to beat the majority of the teams that they play. Sean Johnson's playing outstanding. He holds the key. He's like the Caleb Ponga for Newcastle, but they're doing the team things well.
Just how much have you seen Sean Johnson? He was obviously the man of the moment in
form.
This one. How, the improvement that he's had since going back there this year.
Best form of his career. He's playing tough. He's playing resilient. He's leading this team. There was a moment in the game in the 70th minute where he kicked early And now this ball went down that right side. Some of the shapes he's been running, but it was late in the game when they were in front. 70th minute, he kicked early and chased his kick. I've never ever seen that from Sean. This pass here, when they scored in the corner, it was just that side of the field. He's lighting it up. He is playing so well. He looks really settled away from footy. Obviously, the Warriors boys, the commitment they've made to stay in Australia during COVID. But he's in career best form. So good to see. And I'm glad he's got another year.
Yeah.
Another year contract.
One moment, Bill, that caught your eye. Dallin Watene-Zelezniak.
Yeah, try saver on Seb Chris. This typifies the culture and the attitude of the Warriors at the moment for me. He's the right winger. He comes all the way over the other side, has no right to be in that position, but just puts himself in that position to try and stop a try. And then they go down there 2 minutes later, and Nickel Klookster, he scores in the corner. That to me, I was watching this at home, typifies the culture of the Warriors at the moment and what Webster's instilled in them over there. So that's the team stuff I'm talking about.
He walked down at the end of the game. That was funny because he actually, I'm sure he was walking down to celebrate. By the time he got from the top to the bottom, Canberra had scored 2 tries.
Yeah.
All of a sudden he's on a walkie-talkie and it was a mess.
The Raiders, they gave it a red-hot crack, especially those late tries that you mentioned. What do you think Ricky's assessment would have been of that performance?
Pretty tough environment over there to go and win. They're just an unorthodox side, Canberra. They're as capable of winning this game as they are any game, and you can see how they do it. They don't always do it like every other team. They have their own style. They're physical. They're strong. There was a period there where they got into it a little bit argy-bargy. I thought that didn't work for them. They they didn't come out of that very clearly, and at the end of the game they scored a couple of tries. So they're still up there. They've just won enough games, and I think they've got another bye. There's 4 teams in the top 8 that have another bye, so they've had a great season in Canberra.
Well, the Warriors, they're on a red-hot run, but so too the Cowboys. Last night, they produced a great win over the Parramatta Eels. Their 6th win in a row with a 24-16 victory. The Cowboys, what did you make of this one, Bill, and their performance?
Well, we're going to see a lot of their stars in these highlights. Tommy did, and Scott Drinkwater's in superb form. He's seeing the game as well as anyone in the competition, and he's got the brilliance like this here to go along with it. It's one thing seeing the game, but then to be able to put that into practice with your skills. They didn't go away, Parramatta, but the Cowboys, for me, there's one guy in the middle of the field that probably doesn't get a lot of accolades, but he's a real leader, and that's Cohen Hess. I think Hess he's leading that group. He's starting in the front row. Tamalolo's coming off the bench, and he's a real player. This is Scott Drinkwater try here. That's just vision and brilliance. But they're right there, the Cowboys. They're playing some good football.
It's really interesting to note, Freddie, their turnaround. So since losing to the Eels 8 weeks ago, North Queensland has surged from 2nd last to 7th on the ladder, and they haven't lost a single game since that one to Parramatta.
Well, that's been the beauty of this competition this year, is that if you can string 3 or 4 games together, you move into the 8, simple as that. And I think the manner in which they've done it, I think the coach has done a good job. He didn't lose his head early, and they've just gotten better and better, and you can just see how cohesive they are. I thought in the first couple of minutes when Dearden just went running across field, you could see them all just starting to move with him, and that's a really good sign. A little bit nervous over Nene.
I think it's an AC.
I think it's an AC joint. They can be really tender. It wouldn't surprise me if he misses the best part of a month, but not the worst case scenario. Obviously, he went off, had his arm in a sling and ice on his shoulder, so looked quite bad, but AC joint, I wouldn't be surprised if he misses 3 or 4 weeks, but we'll be back for the finals, I'm assuming.
Geez, I'm worried about Parramatta. Obviously, the missing Sevo and missing Regan Campbell-Gillard.
And now Sean Lane.
And they've got a really tough run in. So, all hands on deck for Parra. They're in for a really tough month of footy.
The other thing for the Cowboys is they've found their defence. They leaked 11 tries against the Tigers about 7-8 weeks ago. They've averaged 2 tries conceded in the game since. So there's no surprise that you get your defence right and you put yourself in the contest.
If Nene's out for the
Nanai.
Yep.
Sorry.
Lukey's back in a couple of weeks.
If he's out for the year, can they win it without him?
Nanai, I don't believe he'll be out for the year. Okay. AC joint, I haven't seen someone miss a season for an AC joint, but it makes it harder. But if they've got a depth in one position, it's the back row.
Well, also Valentine Holmes as well. He was sin binned. So he's still waiting. I just checked then the match review. Yeah, what did you make of it? Because Todd Payton said he thought it was ridiculous.
Well, for me, it's just a hard tackle. And look, the referees out there's 2 touch judges, and they have a feel for the game. For me, it's a really hard tackle. I don't think he hits him in the head. I think it's whiplash.
Well, you say all the time, Joey, about the referee has a good feel for the game, and the referee said it was a knock-on. He said you can challenge it if you want. And it was the bunker who actually sent him off the field for 10 minutes. The other thing that they say is direct and forceful contact to the head. Well, it wasn't direct because the first point of contact wasn't the head. So it was the whiplashing motion that the head came in contact with Val Holmes' body. So, look, yeah, I think it's a tough one. I hope he doesn't get suspended.
Can't get suspended.
I don't think he gets suspended, but at the end of the day, if he hits his head coming in like that,
mate, he hits him here.
We've seen too many of them go bad, and if he's hit his head with his shoulder, then he deserves 10 minutes. But I don't think
even
he
if
needs
it's
to be
not
suspended.
direct.
Well, if it hits his head, there's been too many. Look at like some of the concussions that have come in when blokes have just come flying in like that. If you come flying in and he was blindside, like you come in at a good angle where Mitchell Moses didn't get a good look at him, you just need to be more careful. But I think if it hits his head, then he deserves 10. I don't know if that one deserves any more than that. Because I don't think it was deliberate. There was nothing about it. He just come in to sort of with heavy contact. So, but they've made a rule: if it hits your head, you're getting sin binned, and hit his head. I thought it hit his head.
So I think it hits him here.
I've got no doubt that the whiplash, emotionally,
head down.
Yeah, brings his head down into the shoulder. Yeah. So and that's why. But I think at the end of the day, he had to just take a little bit more care. And I think he would have got the same result. He would have got the ball, and he just had to lower it a little bit. So, but I think they'll get it right. I don't think there was any malice in it.
Well, we'll keep an eye out for the match review committee findings. They'll be getting handed down any moment now. We've got plenty more coming your way here this morning. Freddie, who stood out for you in this one? He's got a mouthful of men shakes. He's got a mouthful of men
I can see it. I'm trying to run it solid for it. He would be the hardest player to tackle in the comp, Katoni Stagg. He would be a nightmare to tackle, to mark. He's got that late footwork. And we saw that backflip, how explosive he is. He'd be like tackle on that.
Yep.
What about Reece Walsh, Adam Reynolds?
Brilliant.
It was such entertaining footy.
Reynolds holds the key. They got so much athleticism and talent in this team. Adam Reynolds is the director. He puts them in positions, he sets up their play, and then you've got the likes of Reece Walsh with so much speed and skill. He made a real difference coming back into this Broncos team. Here he is here.
That is lightning.
So fast.
It's like watching a video game.
And to also do that too, he was quite sick as well. He fought a virus through the whole week and then was struggling. He was physically ill on the field a number of times.
He's missed the last month of footy. He certainly wasn't going to miss that game. They've still got Jordan Ricky, Flegler, Corey Oates to come back into this team. They're on their way.
Who can you see troubling the Broncos?
A lot of teams can trouble them.
Just Penrith?
Everyone.
The Broncos just need to find their best form at the right time of the year. They're 6 weeks away from the finals. They know when it is. They've got to continue to build their game and find their best form at the right time of the year.
Freddie, are you worried about South Sydney at all? I know Totola wasn't there. Obviously, Latrell wasn't there.
Yeah, well, you miss your front row and your best player, your strike player, who plays such a big part for South Sydney. But, yeah, I thought Brisbane sort of challenged them a bit the other night, and I don't think they couldn't go with them.
Also, too, for the Rabbitohs, they have a lot of travel coming up. So they've got games in Tamworth, Cairns, Perth, I think Newcastle.
Well, I think a good thing for that is they'll be together. And listening to their coach, Jason Demetriou, after the game, he said there was too many players with poor attitudes, they weren't good teammates, and they were a group of individuals. So if you want to build some connection within the group, stick together. So that might be a benefit for them.
And they still have a bye as well to come as well. So Marty Tapau, we did see him the cop a 3-week suspension. That's if he does take the early plea for this incident here. You can see it.
It's so dangerous. Like, honestly, if that hits you in the melon or hits you where it hurts the most, imagine that hitting you in the...
Well, that just breaks your jaw if you're any lower.
Even in shoulder.
Remember Anthony Tupu got hit by Conrad Arell. Just broke
Conrad used to lift it.
Well, the NRL sent out a warning to Marty and the Broncos throughout the week leading into this game. So the NRL were aware of this style that Marty runs with, and I think he'll be copping the 3 weeks, Marty.
Lucky he didn't get sent off for that.
He should have got sent off.
Yeah, that was dangerous.
Well, we did see as well yesterday afternoon the Roosters and the Titans on the Gold Coast. The Roosters with a 36-18 win, silencing a lot of critics. This one, how did you assess their performance?
Well, I was calling the women's game, so I didn't watch the game.
Well, they looked relaxed and they looked like they were enjoying their football. Trent Robinson's been speaking about them just letting go and letting their football happen. Lindsay Collins, he should have got a double. Big fella dropped the ball over the line, the second one, but he's happy with that one, and they just looked like they were enjoying themselves. Got their attack on. James Tedesco was brilliant in both parts of the game, defence and attack. They couldn't go with them, the Titans.
Yeah, what a response from Tedesco. Obviously, we all know he's received a fair bit of criticism lately.
A fair bit.
But, yeah.
It's been a pile-on.
And you know what? He never misses a game. Like, how there's criticism over him not playing in a game when everyone gets rested. He's captain Australia in the World Cup. He's hasn't missed an Origin game. He's, played this full series under pressure and then misses a week and they criticise him. Seriously.
Go and walk in his shoes. Go and put your body where he puts his body.
Yeah.
That's...
He gets tackled 20 times a game.
He's...
Minimum.
Yeah.
That's where you get all the
Look at the
damage
reaction.
getting tackled.
Look at the reaction of his teammates there.
Yeah.
They understand how much he gives, and that was a key moment. He's a champion. The pile on him going away was just ridiculous.
Because that's the thing. I think he had Origin period. They were resting him.
The coach,
the best, and
Robbo sent
him. Yeah, exactly.
Sent him. Yeah, I was happy for him. I was happy for Teddy. I was happy for the coach.
It was obviously a really strong first half for the Roosters. Titans sort of did find their way back into it. Do you think that that's something that the Roosters are going to be looking at this week?
No, they won't. Well, they will. Because there'll be a reason then to train and get motivated and focus and strive for something better. But they just need to win.
Well, they're in camp. They're staying up there. So
They
they're going to
just
have a big
needed to
build-up.
win.
They'll have a week build-up.
That's right,
Bit
even
of
the
sunshine
Broncos.
up the Goldie. Actually, Teddy might go back down to Byron Bay.
He might get sent back down there.
Yeah, send
They
him
all
there.
might go. They all might go.
Exactly.
Is Victor back this week?
I don't know.
I think
Strange
he's a chance. Yeah, I think he's a chance.
They've got a good lineup, and they've got a lineup if it... The one thing you said is they look relaxed. If they go into the next game relaxed, they've got a good footy team. You've got great front rowers. They've got a crafty 5'8", great fullback, strike out wide. They're a good footy team that if you take lightly or if it works for them, they will beat anyone. So down to Byron it is.
A relaxed footy team in Byron Bay.
She's on, she's off.
She's off Byron.
She's off.
Alan Bibby.
Take him. You can't do that.
Nimbin.
We might see him next week.